Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, mga kasama. So to formally begin our session, let us all say a short prayer and sing the national anthem.
In respectful presence of our brothers and sisters across boundaries and faiths, let us all join in prayer and worship and gratitude and for guidance. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and all its joys. We thank you for today, for all its challenges, in all its splendor. We thank you for the gift of one another. O God of infinite mercy and wisdom, only in unity with your will can all our toils have true meaning. Transform us into willing and able stewards of this world and its future. Bring us together to work with understanding and compassion. As we toil and grow weary, we pray for renewed strength and resolve. As we experience pain and sorrow, let us be reminded of untold good beyond. As we see pain and suffering, let us be instruments of your peace and extensions of your loving and healing hands. As we gather here today, bless us all that our collective knowledge be tempered and guided by your wisdom. Grant us clarity of vision to see the common good amidst all distractions. Endow us with humility and purity of heart to transcend all differences and reservations. When we leave this gathering, let us be the change we seek. As we endeavor to practice what we learn, let us be the good we want to see in others. As we work for our learners and their future, let it be that your will be done. In solemn silence, let us conclude with our own personal prayer.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigiw, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pangaw, ay hinatang tula, kawit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhaging pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Okay, so once again, good afternoon po sa lahat. Maayong hapon po. Kumusta na po ang ating mga kasama? So we're happy that you are here with us, knowing that it's already Holy Week. Ayan. So may nakita po ako kanina bumate si Teacher Olive. Tama po ba, Teacher Olive? Hello po. Okay, so let me just remind you of our house rules for our webinar. Ayan. So number 1 po, so please note that attendees do not have access to turn on their camera and mic. You may communicate with everyone using the chat tab. Ayan, so nakita naman po natin yung chat tab. So if you have any question, you can type your question or any insights that you have. Number 2, please wait for the presentations to finish and wait for the acknowledgement before asking questions. So we listen first, and then after listening to the discussion, so that's the time that we give our questions or we ask our questions. Number 3, use the Q&A tab found at the bottom of your screen to ask questions. And last one, please make sure to complete the feedback form to ensure your attendance. Ayan, so meron po tayong feedback form. So please complete it so that it will record your attendance as well. Okay, so we also have raffle this afternoon. Ayan, so yan po ang inaabangan ng lahat, di po ba? So masaya po pagka may raffle at nawa po ay maraming swertihin. Ayan, so ngayong hapon na ito. So for the raffle, so some reminders. To claim your raffle prize, kindly send your full name, contact number, GCash number. Ayan, wag po natin kakalimutan yung ating GCash number, or bank account and ID to any of the following. So you can send it to Miss Pauline Ann Encinares at prncinares@rex.com.ph or to Miss Rachel Ann Rogis at rmrogis@rex.com.ph. So yan po ang ating mga raffle reminders. Okay, so by the way, I haven't introduced myself. So I'll be your moderator for episode 3 series. So I'm Ma'am Eloisa Mendoza. So I'm also an educator, a teacher, and I think there are teachers this afternoon. So you can actually write your name in the chat box, write the name where you are working or the school that you are representing, and also the position that you are currently holding. So I believe that we have administrators, both teaching and non-teaching staff who are with us this afternoon, okay? So let's recall our episode 2 last time. So it's all about PVMGO, or the philosophy, vision, mission, goal, and objectives of our institution. So we discussed in the previous episode the importance of a clear and aligned PVMGO for institutional success. So we highlighted that a well-defined PVMGO serves as the core ethos and guiding compass of an educational institution. So that's very important, and I think this is very relevant to our episode series this afternoon. So it outlines the school's aspirations, the vision, its purpose and core activities, the mission, and how it intends to create impact, goals, and objectives. So when aligned, it directs decision-making, clarifies the institution's identity, and fosters shared purpose among stakeholders. So there's also a review, or the importance of review and revisit of PVMGO for QA and accreditation. So every time we apply for accreditation, so we always review and revisit our PVMGO. So the review process must be data-driven and multi-stakeholder. So it involves scenario planning, trend analysis, and identifying critical uncertainties. So tools like surveys, FGDs, and performance assessments are used to evaluate alignment and effectiveness. So how often? So let's have a recall of how often should we review or revisit our PVMGO. So quarterly, annually, and every 3 to 5 years, depending on accreditation or school planning cycles. Comprehensive review every 6 years or at the end of a school head's term. So who should be involved? A whole school approach. So that includes students, teachers, non-teaching staff, parents, and external partners. So we also discussed the realization of PVMGO in school operations. To ensure impact, PVMGO must be embedded in curriculum, lesson planning, school programs, and daily instruction. Visible in school rituals, manuals, leadership, training, and policies, and reinforced in mentoring, supervisory programs, and school culture. So lastly, it was also discussed that there are challenges in the PVMGO implementation in Philippine schools. So what are those key challenges? So lack of stakeholders awareness, teacher workload, misalignment of national school level policies, inadequate monitoring and evaluation systems, resource constraints, and cultural barriers and technological shifts. Okay, so this afternoon, we're going to discuss a very important issue or topic that each one of you will be able to apply, especially if you are planning or if you are already in the process of applying for accreditation or reaccreditation or certification of your school. So our topic this afternoon is strategic planning and management. So today's session centers on a topic that lies at the heart of every thriving institution, strategic planning and management. In our daily lives, so we all know that planning is second nature. Whether it's organizing a family meal, budgeting for the month, or most probably if you are planning for a vacation. So planning is important, or even setting personal goals. So having a clear plan guides our decisions, reduces stress, and helps us achieve meaningful outcomes. So the same is true in our schools. A well-crafted strategic plan serves as a compass, aligning efforts, anticipating challenges, and guiding every stakeholder toward a shared vision. So through this webinar, we will explore how strategic planning is not just an administrative requirement. Yan, so hindi po kailangan admin lang ang nagpa-plan. So kailangan po raw ay lahat. So mamaya tatalakayin po yan ng ating mga panelists. So it is a tool for sustainability, growth, and lasting impact. It allows school to stay true to their mission while adapting to the ever-changing educational landscape. So now let us discover together how purposeful planning can move our schools from good to great. So welcome and thank you for joining us. So now I have the honor to present to you our panelists. Okay, so our first panelist is Ma'am Palaran C. Algar. So a seasoned educator and academic affairs advising consultant with nearly 5 decades of committed service to the education sector. Holding a master's degree in educational management, major in planning, she has served as a classroom teacher, academic coordinator, school principal, academic director, and consultant across various schools for a cumulative span of 49 years. Her leadership has notably impacted 2 schools where she served as principal for 28 years and another as academic director for 6 years. Beyond school administration, so Ma'am Algar has been deeply involved in professional development as a trainer and resource speaker, locally and nationally for over 30 years. She has held key positions such as president of 2 professional associations, regional coordinator of CEAP, national PEAC certifier, and board trustee for several institutions. Her advocacy extends to PAASCU or PAASCO accreditation and even insurance education as a unit manager of Pioneer Life Insurance. A passionate mentor and community leader, she has provided consultancy to 8 schools over the past 7 years. Personally, she is a devoted wife of 42 years, a loving mother of 2, and a proud grandmother to 2 adorable girls, aged 4 and 5 months. So let us all welcome Ma'am Palaran C. Algar. So let's give her a virtual applause. Ayan, so palakpakan po dyan. Thank you po. Okay, so our next panelist, our second panelist, is Ma'am Edita Q. Sagnit. She is currently the principal of the University of the Assumption Junior High School. Her visionary and passionate leadership has provided innovative ways and opportunities in empowering and championing the Filipino learner. With her advocacy of championing the Filipino learner, Ms. Sagmit is a national PEAC certifier, a reading consultant, and has been the DepEd FAPE trainer in English, Commission on Higher Education trainer in English for language proficiency, and DepEd Division City of San Fernando trainer in English proficiency training program for teachers. Her wide range of experience as an educator has been deepened and strengthened in her educational and cultural exchanges to countries like Thailand, Singapore, and Japan. These are made evident in the school that she leads and the schools where she shares her passion for education as a national trainer and a resource speaker. An awarded teacher and an educator, she was recently awarded as the outstanding Ferdinando in education in the field of administration. She was PERAAS 2015 Most Outstanding Administrator, 2013 Most Outstanding School Head in the Jesus S. Lazatin Foundation Awards of Excellence, the 2011 Most Outstanding School Principal, and the 2007 Teacher of the Year, both awards from the DepEd Region 3 Division City of San Fernando, Pampanga. She attended the Executive Doctorate in Education Leadership Program at the Development Academy of the Philippines. She is at present in the pursuit of her PhD degree in Educational Management at the University of the Assumption. So let us all give a round of applause to Ma'am Edita Q. Sagmit. So we may send our virtual applause to our second panelist. Okay, so now let's proceed to our third panelist. Last but definitely not the least. Ma'am Gloria P. Deniega is our third panelist, a lifelong learner that she can consider herself and a dedicated educational leader whose career spans teaching, administration, and professional development facilitation. She is currently serving as the basic education principal at the University of Cebu, Lapu-Lapu, and Mandaue. Her extensive experience in the educational sector spans almost 3 decades, during which she has built a reputation as a dedicated educator, innovative administrator, and a steadfast advocate for quality education. In addition to her principalship, she has served as a PEAC certifier for more than a decade, Rex Kasama Ambassador, and is part of the Rex Educación Matatag Corps of Trainers for the Visayas Group, demonstrating her multifaceted contributions to Philippine education. She has facilitated PEAC-initiated national training and webinars for school administrators and teachers. Her educational journey reflects her commitment to continuous learning and academic excellence. Currently, she is in the dissertation writing phase of her Doctor of Philosophy in Education major in Educational Administration at the University of San Carlos. She holds TESDA national certifications in Trainers Methodology 1 and Cookery NC2. These certifications underscore her diverse skill set and commitment to comprehensive educational competence. To further develop her leadership capabilities, she participated in the Executive Education Program at the prestigious Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore in 2018. This international exposure has undoubtedly enhanced her global perspective on educational management and policy formulation. She also maintains active membership in numerous professional organizations, reflecting her engagement with educational communities at various levels at the international level. She has been a member of Asia TEFL since 2012. Nationally, she holds lifetime memberships in the Linguistics Society of the Philippines, the College English Teachers Association, and the Council of Department Chairpersons for English. She is also affiliated with the Association of Philippine Private School Administrators and Mentors and the Philippine Association for Teacher Education. Her commitment to local educational leadership is particularly evident through her progressive roles in the Mandaue Organization of Private School Administrators. She began as a member, then a secretary, treasurer, and currently holds the position of vice president. This trajectory demonstrates her increasing influence and trust within the local educational community. She also exemplifies lifelong learning through her extensive participation in professional development activities. Recently, she has engaged in various seminars, including institutional strategic planning, professional learning communities, understanding CEFR levels, designing meaningful learning experience, preparing and adapting in an AI-assisted world, among others. This recent engagement reflects her awareness of contemporary educational challenges and innovations, particularly in curriculum planning and implementation, strategic planning and management, technology integration, and adaptive learning design. Her continued pursuit of professional development indicates her commitment to staying at the forefront of educational advancement. So the extensive list of webinars and online training sessions attended demonstrates her agility in responding to the educational challenges. So she participated in numerous sessions focused on distant learning methodologies, online teaching techniques, flexible learning approaches, and digital tools for education. So this preparation equipped her to lead educational transitions during this critical period, showing her foresight and adaptability as an educational administrator. She has also shown interest in emerging educational trends, participating in sessions on guiding the AI educator's journey and exploration of AI's potential creative applications, and ethical considerations in education, and preparing and adapting in an AI-assisted world. So this engagement with cutting-edge educational technologies positions her as a forward-thinking educational leader prepared to navigate the evolving landscape of 21st century education. So my dear participants, so let us all give a virtual applause our third panelist, Ma'am Gloria P. Daniela. Okay, so moving on. So this afternoon, so we have 4 discussion points. So our panelists will share their insights regarding this discussion point. So the first one, how does strategic planning and management benefit schools? What is the importance of strategic planning? Number 2, what are the relevant planning cycles in schools? Who should participate in the strategic planning process? And what are their roles? Number 3, what critical practices ensure that strategic goals are implemented in the school's programs, projects, and activities? What happens when schools fail to plan strategically? And number 4, how important are contingencies to be set in place to allow modifications of the implementation and evaluation? So let's now proceed to our first discussion point. So the first question or the first discussion point will be discussed by our first panelist, no other than Ma'am Palaran. Okay, so Ma'am Palaran.
There. Thank you so much, Miss Eloisa, for your kind introduction. I am truly humbled. And to Rex, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to continue touching lives of educators, hopefully. I am so honored to share my thoughts, my ideas, or some theories about strategic planning with such a brilliant and enthusiastic group like you. So, to everyone, an amazing and a blissful afternoon. Every time I will handle an in-service training, I always acknowledge the importance of developing a culture of thinking, which means developing the skills of creativity and innovation. So this afternoon, we will try to write on the chat box a very creative greetings for everyone, not the traditional good afternoon or whatever. So only for 30 seconds. Please write on the chat box your very creative and innovative greetings. Timer starts now. Okay, there. Ma'am Eloisa, will you please read some, at least 5? Most creative and innovative way of greetings aside
Okay,
from
so
the
I'm
good
going to
afternoon.
read the most creative and innovative greetings. Bon voyage. Alae, kumusta naga? Okay,
Mhm.
so we also have here, Mampal, maupay nga kulop ha iyon tanan. Ayan, hindi ko po naintindihan yun. Okay? And then, so, another one, mayat ay agew. Mampal, you
Oh,
understand that? Okay, and then we have here, grace and peace. Malaya at mapagpalang araw. So, there. Those are the greetings, Mampal.
okay, thank you very much for your engagement and for your very creative and innovative greetings. Although some of the greetings we do not understand. Okay, that's okay. And then I have here another question which you can answer with yes or no. Again, please write your answer on the chat box. Do you love problems? Do you love problems? No need to explain. Just say yes or no, especially problems in your school. Only for 30 seconds. Timer starts now. Okay, Ma'am Eloisa, will you please read? What do you think has the most answer?
Mampal, among the participants who have written their response. So most of them, they say that yes. And then there are only, I think, few who say no.
Okay, there. Again, thank you so much for your engagement. So this question is really very, very important. Do you love problems? Because if you love problems, you are going to consider these problems as challenges, especially problems in your school. And then if you will consider this as challenges, then these are already opportunities for you to think of possible solutions to improve your school. And it has something to do with strategic planning. So let us proceed now. Next slide, please. So what is strategic planning in education? Strategic planning is the process of setting goals, deciding on actions to achieve those goals, and mobilizing the resources needed to take those actions. A strategic plan describes how goals will be achieved using available resources. So we have here the important words that we have to remember. One is process. The second one is goals. The third one, deciding on actions. And then the third one, mobilizing the resources. And then especially the the available resources that would help achieve the goals. So these are the things that we should remember. Next slide, please. In essence, such plans are organizational roadmaps to get us from where we are at now to where we want to get to at some defined point or points in the future. So we can consider the strategic plan as our roadmaps, no? So that we will know where we are at now, present, and where we want to get to. So that means bringing the future into the present. Next slide, please. So what is management? Management is the processes of planning, leading, organizing, and controlling to create and maintain the quality assurance environment. So in other words, planning is an important element or factor in management. No? So this is a way where we can create and ensure to our stakeholders that our school is always, no, or continuously planning for improvement. Okay, so let us have the next slide, please. What are the focus? Now, what are the things that we should consider very, very important in strategic planning? So planning is a strategic thinking process, or we call it STP. This is how to apply STP to education sector to achieve distinct relevance, especially relevance to standards of certification if your school is working on certification, or relevance to standards of accreditation if your school is working for accreditation. Also, STP or strategic thinking process should consider the relevance to the stakeholders' expectations and relevance to performance outcome of learners. And then the STP is also a framework for scope of future products, services, and markets. And STP is very important for us to be responsive to changes. So in other words, we will consider internal and external data. So there is a need for us to engage our board of directors and our key stakeholders, internal and external. In other words, STP is a qualitative analysis and it should be values-based. The second one, we should give emphasis to critical thinking or CTP that transforms how organizations conduct their business. So this can be articulated through changes maybe of some policies in our school that would be articulated in the manual, because of the manual has the system, no, the guideline, the policies, and the different programs of the school. So that is critical thinking process, meaning to say we have to be responsive to the changes. And the third one is elements to be considered. So in strategic planning, we have to consider the background, the context, the profile, the process, and logistics. What is the background of our school? What is the history of our school? What is the PVMGO of our school? How about the faculty profile, the human resources profile? We have to really consider it because these are elements very, very important to strategic planning. And of course, we have to consider what would be the process that we are going to follow, and of course, the logistics. Next is the three interlocking processes critical to the success of the organization. Number one is the strategic thinking, which I have already explained. Number two is strategic product innovation. This is really very, very important because of the changes of the times. And the last one is strategic information management. So this is a situation management framework. So very important. What are the key challenges of strategic planning? Number one is the changing profile of generations. Now we have to consider that. Our generations before, especially my generation, is entirely different from the generation now. And we have also to acknowledge technology, no, the advancement of technology, when in fact the technology is one of the 21st century skills that we are to develop in our learners, no. So there are four 21st century skills, and number one is the media, information, and technology. And then the third one, we have to consider also talent. So we have to hunt. No, we have a lot of teachers who are very talented. We have a lot of faculty and staff who are very talented, our learners. No, so we have also to consider that this one, especially in plotting already the strategic plan, how to answer the different talents. And then the changing regulations, policies, and legislations, no? Especially that from time to time, we have changes of the Department of Education. And even in our own institution, we have changes in terms of policies, in terms of regulations. So we have to consider this. And then another consideration, or for us to give focus, is the increased competitions. So we have a lot of private schools in our place, no? And then it's mushrooming, and then there is a lot of competition, especially for enrollment, and even competition between public schools and private schools. So we have also to consider that. And then we have also the rising stakeholders' expectations, because our parents now, our stakeholders, they have different expectations already. So we have to answer this. And the last one, of course, we have to consider the present realities of the school. So these are the things that we should give emphasis in our strategic planning. Next slide, please. What are the importance of strategic planning? So we have the product of strategic planning. We call it the strategic plan, well-designed plan. So the SP articulates a shared vision, mission, and values, no? So this is very, very important. Why? Because the SP keeps everyone informed of their strategic goals and how their actions are contributing to the achievement of these goals. This enables the parents, the staff, the community members, and the stakeholders to work towards a common vision. That is why in our previous topic, we have the PVMGO. How important is the PVMGO? And everybody should be grounded, because the being of our school is the PVMGO, and the being of our teachers and staff is the PVMGO. Next, how important is strategic planning? So we have strategic plan effectively organizes school staff and time. So effective time management contributes to the involvement of everyone in the institution. This is really very, very important. So we need to be organized, no? Not only the human resources, but also the time or the material resources. Next is SP defines how success is being measured. So determining clear benchmarks and output-based goals for success is especially important. So from time to time, if we have implemented our strategic plan, we have to clap our hands and pat our shoulder, because that is a success. And there should be an evaluation tool, no, whether it is really successful. And then another importance of strategic planning is that helps with decision making, responsiveness, and innovation. So with the strategic plan in place, educational institutions have a roadmap to track, evaluate, and modify plans for better governance decisions and to provide clearer directions for the future of the school. So planning, therefore, is bringing the future into the present so that we can do something about it now. And then we have also here increases communication and engagement because of strategic planning. So SP is critical to building trust with stakeholders and maintaining effective engagement both internally and externally. If we will be having a very functional strategic plan, we can always give an assurance to our stakeholders that our school is continuously improving. And then we have another one. SP keeps everyone in a school from teachers to administrators connected. So, a well-implemented and communicated strategic plan holds all staff accountability for their actions and encourage collaboration. So in other words, because of strategic plan, we will have collaboration, and collaborative expertise is one of the emphasis of the revised K-10 curriculum. And the last one, best reason of all for strategic planning comes back to every great school's number one priority, the students or the learners. No? So we have to really think it over. Why is it that there is a need for us to have a strategic plan? Not because it is for compliance, especially if we are working for certification, not a compliance especially if we are working for accreditation. But the strategic plan is a tool so that we will continue to offer quality education, and not for us, but for our learners. So next slide, please. There. So I think back to you, Miss Eloisa. I have already discussed point number 1. Thank you.
Okay. So this time, we're going to listen from the perspective of school administrator by Ma'am Edita Q. Sagit. So I'll be giving now the mic to Ma'am Edita.
Thank you, Ma'am Eloisa. Good afternoon, my fellow educators. Thank you, Ma'am Pal, our Nanay Pal, for providing us those significant information about strategic planning and management. So, on my own perspective as a school administrator, let me share the following insights. Next slide, please. So, how does strategic planning and management benefit schools? And what is the importance of strategic planning? I will always say that nothing beats solid preparation and excellent execution. It was mentioned by Ma'am Pal that in strategic planning, you actually do a strategic thinking process and critical thinking process. The strategic planning allows us to think of the steps, the next big things about our schools. So, strategic planning and management provide a structured and organized and systematic framework for schools to define their future direction and also think about allocating resources effectively and ultimately improve student outcomes and overall organizational effectiveness. It provides us a clear direction. What are our dreams? What are our goals? What are our objectives that will shape our school's destiny? In the strategic planning and management, it builds the kind of branding that we have for our schools. As a school administrator, imagine not having a plan for the school and what would be the school's future direction. These are significant among our stakeholders. So that it will shape our school's destiny. How do we want our school to be in the future? What shall we do for the future of our schools? can we think about sustainability if we have a strategic plan? And one of the factors to think about is allocating resources. So when you do a strategic planning, you are to provide and to allocate resources aligned to your levels of priorities. And in doing so, that will provide the school itself, the entire stakeholders in providing a good direction for the school. Let's look at uh, the process of having a strategic plan creates a sense of unity and shared purpose. So, in the school community, hindi pwede pong hindi pare-pareho yung ginagawa natin. Hindi rin napakahirap din to think about na we are thinking differently about the direction of the school. So, having a strategic plan for the school will create a sense of unity among each and every one of us, and it will be a shared purpose. So, from the school administrators to the parents, to the teachers, to the students, to the other stakeholders, it will provide a sense of ownership. This is how we want our school to be, and this is where we want to go. Next slide, please. I'd like to share my thoughts as well, and based on the references that I read about what are the benefits of strategic planning and management for schools. I will add on to what Ma'am Pal has shared with all of us and put into the aspect of how an administrator would look into it according to my lens. It provides clarity of vision and mission. Our strategic plan will be based on the vision mission of our school. So that's very clear. Let's look at our vision mission leading to the planning of our schools, and that is the strategic planning and management. And if we have a plan, then we can establish our priorities and focus. What do we want to endeavor? Ano ba yung gusto nating gawin? Ano ba yung mga priorities natin in our very own schools? What would be our focus? If we know that, then it will help us in our decision-making process. Our decision-making process will be about the strategic plan, and this plan can be in different stages. We have the action plan for the year, we have a 3-year strategic plan, 5-year strategic plan, or even a 10-year strategic plan direction. So, alam po natin kung saan tayo magfo-focus, and at the same time, it will enhance our decision-making process. For us, administrators, napaka-importante po that we will have a good source of decision-making. So, hindi lang siya parang iniisip natin siya ng matagal and then we need to make decisions. But in the improvement of our decision-making process, we have sources. We can analyze data. There is a print, a fine print of our directions and what to look at when we decide on the priorities of our school. Another benefit is improves our resource allocation. So, of course, we are always challenged in the private schools on resource allocation, financial implications, economic issues that we have to address, and even looking at the inflation on a yearly basis. If we have the plan, we can already do the budgeting process, and that improves our resource allocation. So based on our strategic plan direction, on our strategic plan process, saan ko ba ilalagay yung aking resources. Saan ako magpa-prioritize? Because I have this plan, nakikita ko kung saan ako mag-concentrate or magpa-prioritize, or they are according to priority areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to where I will put my resource allocation. Also, you would see that I am also thinking as an administrator, superior strategies with the minimum resources. As I always say, we are always challenged by our resources in the private schools. We know how difficult it is. But given that meron akong plan, meron akong strategic plan, I would know how to manage the resources. I would know where to focus on my resources. Based on that plan, saan ko gagastusin yung resources ng school. But of course, when you talk about resources, this may not only be our financial resources, but all that is aligned to the resources of our school. Even one of the most important resources of our school are our human resource. And why do we need to do a strategic planning and management in schools? Of course, it promotes collaboration and communication. So we can plan, sit down, discuss, and talk. And this is a form of a sense of unity and a shared purpose. Iba po siguro yung pakiramdam kapag lahat ng members of the school community have an ownership of the direction of the school. And everyone understands why and how these are the priorities of the school. And everyone can have a shared discussion. Everyone can be consulted. Everyone has a contribution. Everyone is well informed. This is a very good dynamic for us school administrators, that it's not only about us being the school heads, the school administrators of the schools, but it's about the school community as a whole and a school community in general. There are some instances when we do strategic planning because we're going to do accreditation or certifications. If that is by chance, then it provides an opportunity for us to be having an open communication and a collaborative participation on each and every member of the school community. What else would be the benefits? If I would look at the certification and accreditation processes, napaka-importante po na nagkakaintindihan ang lahat ng tao sa isang school community. They are driven by one goal, and ibang klaseng pakiramdam kapag nakikita natin na we all share the same purpose in the betterment of our school. And we will have a more refined way of doing our work when there is understanding, there is collaboration and communication between and among schools. Another benefit of the strategic planning and management for schools is it increases accountability. Because when you have a plan, when you have a strategic plan, nakalagay yung mga in charge, nakalagay yung mga point persons. So it increases the accountability and the responsibility. Also, under this area, I see the organizational excellence. Kanino ba tayo pupunta pag kailangan natin ito? Who is the accountable one when we need this one? where do we get this for this to be done? So there are those in charge in the organization, there are point persons, there are the leads and the heads who has to take the accountability and the responsibility. And part of the school leaders also, when it comes to accountability and responsibility, is that we also joined in the members of our committee at that magtulungan tayo. Eto tayo, we do not just help one another, but I can see that we can also enjoy working in the achievement of our action plans, strategic plans, and the school's direction. And another benefit is that we are able to look at our adaptation to change. Because we have a plan, we can also discuss the changes, the possible changes that may happen while we are having the plan. To me, I would put in the last the improved student outcomes. I would first work on the strengthening stakeholders' trust. Of course, our stakeholders, specifically from the external, who will be our parents, our community partners, our linkages. If we don't have a strategic plan or a development plan for our schools, how will our stakeholders provide us the needed help that they can actually bring about in our school without having a plan? Specifically, those non-government organizations or private organizations would ask us, what is your plan? Do you have a 5-year development plan, 5-year, 3-year strategic plan, so that they will be more engaged and they will be inspired to coordinate with us, to collaborate with us and help us. And like I mentioned, ang pinaka-importante sa akin as a school administrator is the improvement of the student outcome. The focus of the strategic plan and management would be about the achievement of our students, the improvement of student outcome, the core of what we offer among our students definitely is to make the best learning experience for our students. This is to ensure that the teaching and learning process succeed because we are driven by a really well-planned action plans, strategic plans, development plans that would lead to the betterment of our educational offerings. And at the same time, we will see this in the facet of our learners, that what we will do in the strategic planning and management would definitely be the result would be the improvement of the student outcomes and the student learnings. Next slide, please. Just a deepened process of the importance of strategic planning. Definitely, it will provide us direction in a very complex situation and a very complex environment. Imagine the dramatical changes in our Philippine education. Sa lahat ng bagay, if we have a very good plan and we look at our plan very well, we track our plan clearly, then it gives us a direction. Hindi tayo naliligaw. Meron tayong nakikita, meron akong tinitignan on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a yearly basis, on a 3-year or a 5-year. And it ensures a long-term sustainability. A lot of factors I think about long-term sustainability. What are these factors? Of course, if you have a plan, you are able to anticipate a long-term sustainability, one, in your human resources, the most important resources, the most important among the resources, our human resource, our teachers, our personnel, and even our students. So how do you look at sustainability in these aspects? Um, Followed by that would be the economic, financial sustainability of the school. The importance of strategic planning drives continuous improvement to excellence and greatness. Um, we love that drive that we are all together as a school and as a community. It is a shared, I would always say, the shared purpose when we feel that our teachers, our students, our parents, our alumni, our personnel, even our personnel, our teachers, even our external community partners, they know that this school is driven by continuous improvement. Uh, the school is committed to providing the best education for its learners, and there's a sense of pride and joy among each and everyone in the school community because of that continuous improvement. Um, Ito po yata yung nagbibigay sa atin ng mga estudyante. One of the factors para pumunta sa atin, mag-enroll sa atin at magtiwala sa atin yung mga parents with our students is that they know that there is a continuous improvement that is coming from this school. Like I mentioned, an important part of the strategic planning is to align efforts towards a common purpose. So we're going north. So everyone is going north. Not one is going in another direction, south, because there is the direction that would come from our strategic plan. And then it maximizes the impact of educational efforts. So while challenging, but our efforts all put together provides the harmony and the greatness of our schools. Next slide, please. I add on what can be the strategic plan initiatives. So for me, I am reminded of the VUCA world. The VUCA world would always have the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity, and the ambiguity. But these are my antidotes. What are those that can be strategic plan initiatives where I consider them my antidotes? We can develop a school-wide improvement plan based on data analysis and stakeholder input. A good source of decision-making for us administrators would be the data. And how do we look at this data, the numbers, the figures that would allow us to decide well? And napaka-importante po ng stakeholder input. So, ganito pala yung tingin nila sa school namin. Ito pala yung tingin nilang we do good, that would come from the consultations from our stakeholders. Ito pala yung nagagawa naming maganda. Ito pala yung kailangan naming ma-improve. So you get a good range of consultations, collaborations, and input that would come from the school community. Another antidote, let's align the curriculum development and instructional practices with strategic goals for student achievement. One of the most important item that must be found in the strategic plan initiative or in the action plan, in the 3-year plan, in the 5-year plan would be student achievement. Then, this is the reason why we exist as a school, first and foremost. That is student achievement. It was already mentioned that one can be an antidote is to allocate budget resources to support key strategic initiatives. So I already emphasized this aspect po na as a school administrator, part of getting into this direction would be allocating budget resources. But what will challenge us is We may have minimum resources, but we can do superior strategies. And an antidote to the strategic plan is to establish performance indicators to track progress towards strategic objectives. Ma'am Pal mentioned about evaluation of the strategic plan. So we can track, are we following the strategic plan? What did we achieve? How many percentages was achieved and was not achieved? So how do we move on to the next implementation of our strategic plan? And of course, the most important is to communicate the strategic plan and progress updates to the school community. Let everybody in the school community know how are we able to achieve, what are our achievements in the strategic plan process, what are our progresses, and what do we need to do. And an added, ang ganda yata pong mag-celebrate or really emphasize the milestone of the school, the milestones of the school when we are able to accomplish our strategic plan because of the united efforts of each and every member in the school community. So this is what I can share on item number 1. Thank you very much. So Ma'am Eloisa, it will now be the turn of our next. So these were the references I got in for what I have discussed, but more on the experiences and the perspectives that I have as a school administrator. And the next person is our teacher leader, a classroom teacher, and also a fellow school administrator. So let's look at what are the foresights and insights of Ma'am Gloria. Salamat po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Editha. By the way, can you hear me clearly? Can you also give me a virtual thumbs up? Okay, thank you so much for your confirmation. A happy Tuesday, everyone. Benjamin Franklin once said, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. This is actually my favorite quote, and a reminder also for me. Ma'am Pal, a while ago, explained clearly the definition of strategic planning and management. And she emphasized strategic thinking process, or the STP, critical thinking process, or the CTP, the elements in strategic planning, the processes, as well as the key challenges in doing strategic planning. While Ma'am Editha, a while ago, she also shared her thoughts on the lens of the school administrators and future directions of the school. They both emphasized, Ma'am Pal and Ma'am Editha emphasized that schools that embrace a great strategic plan must have clear advantages over schools that don't. They also gave some practical examples of strategic planning and provided reasons why every school should embrace strategic planning. And I guess everyone will agree with me that all schools benefit from strategic planning and strategic plan implementation. Research show that schools with a strategic plan achieve 70% more of their intended outcomes compared to those without one. So this statistic emphasizes the critical role of planning in educational success. Now, my task this afternoon is to address the benefits and importance of strategic planning and management through the lens of the teachers, by looking at how directly impacts the educators in the classroom. Next slide, please. From a teacher standpoint, the value of strategic planning isn't some abstract document gathering dust on a shelf. Of course, the plan must not be placed in a closed cabinet. Its true benefit lies in how it translates into a more supportive, focused, and ultimately more effective environment for teaching and planning. Now, the question, how does strategic planning and management benefit schools? So from the teacher's perspective, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll start with the benefits of strategic planning and management from the lens of the teachers. One is, if we do strategic planning and management in school, it gives clearer direction and shared purpose. So when a school has a well-defined strategic plan, it provides a clear roadmap for everyone. And one of the most important stakeholders in our school are of course, the teachers. So for teachers, this means understanding the overarching goals of the school. So that is why every school year we give orientation and reorientation to our teachers about the PVMGO of the school, because they need to understand and internalize the avowed PVMGO of the school. So they must understand where they are headed in terms of student achievement, and including resource allocation of the school. And this clarity will help the teachers align their individual practices in the classroom, and to align the school's vision, mission, and of course, objectives, fostering a sense of shared purpose and reducing the feeling of working in isolation. The other benefit is it will give more efficient resource allocation. Ma'am Pal and Ma'am Editha also mentioned this a while ago in their talk. Strategic planning helps ensure that resources, time, budget, including professional development, not only for the teachers, but also for the non-teaching staff, are allocated in a way that directly supports the school's key priorities. It must be embedded, or it must be stipulated in the plan. Now, for teachers, this can translate to more relevant and timely professional development opportunities, access to necessary teaching materials and technology, and even better support staff allocation. So very important. Budget is very important for us to be able to realize our plan. The third benefit is improved collaboration and communication. This is very important. A well-executed strategic plan often necessitates better communication channels and collaborative structures within the school. When accreditors or even certifiers visit the school, they will always ask whether the students are involved in the planning. So very important that we will not forget and include the teachers in the planning process. A major additional benefit of strategic planning is that it provides also an opportunity for active employee engagement. across the school organization. When it comes to strategic planning, the benefit remains present in all aspects of the school. There's also a research that suggests that a leading cause for employee discontent, this is in general, but especially in the, of course, it also happens in the private sector, is that employees or teachers don't understand how the work they're doing helps their organization. So if we fail to let them understand, and if we fail to explain or include them in the planning, they will not understand, and you cannot really get their full support. We should also remember that a strategic plan effectively organizes and involves the different stakeholders. It's not only the teachers, since the plan must be collaboratively prepared. We should also include the administrators, the teachers, of course, the other stakeholders, the students, the parents, and even our alumni, because they will be very helpful when we of course, prepare our plan. The fourth benefit that I would like to add on the table is enhanced professional growth and empowerment. So when teachers are involved in the strategic planning process, it fosters a sense of ownership. And of course, they will feel empowered, knowing that their perspectives are valued and that the school's direction is informed by their experiences on the ground, can really boost their morale and motivation. So that is why we must include them. The importance. Now, what is the importance of strategic planning? The importance of strategic planning lies in its ability to create a more stable, predictable, and supportive environment for the teachers. Without it, schools can become reactive, resources can be mismanaged, and teachers might feel like they are constantly navigating shifting priorities. So they should know the school's priorities, because it will give them a clear direction on the goals of the school, so that they will also help the school achieve the priorities. One is stability and focus. It provides a long-term vision, preventing the constant swing of initiatives that can overwhelm the teachers, and somehow it will disrupt their work. The other importance why we need to do strategic planning in school is, of course, purposeful innovation. It allows for planned and thoughtful innovation rather than implementing trendy ideas without considering their long-term impact or teachers' readiness. So that is why it's very important. The third is this will also serve as a voice in the future. Now, what does it mean? When strategic planning is done effectively, it allows teachers' experiences and insights to inform the future schools' directions, leading to more practical and sustainable improvements. In essence, strategic planning from the teacher's perspective, it's about creating a school environment where they feel supported. Their efforts are aligned with the clear goals and objectives of the school, and they have the resources and collaboration needed to effectively do what they do best, educating our students, and of course, making a difference on their lives. It will also help transform the school from a collection of individual classrooms into a more cohesive and purposeful learning community. Nowadays, I believe that it is not enough to know what to do. We must know why it's important and then do it strategically. So thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, Ma'am Gloria. Thank you, Ma'am Pal and Ma'am Edita. So based on the discussion of our panelists, so strategic planning is important because it sets direction, fulfills the PVMGO of the school. And as what our second panelist has mentioned, so teachers, including personnel, are the most important human resources. So there should be an allocation based on the priorities. And our third panelist has highlighted the importance of the teachers' participation when it comes to strategic planning because they are empowered. Okay, so I think we have questions here. So the first question, how can school heads effectively balance between long-term strategic goals and the urgent day-to-day operational challenges without compromising the integrity of the strategic plan? So I think this will be answered in a while for our discussion 2 point. And then another question, can we include in the strategic plan the usual practices or operation of the school? So again, so let's wait for the other discussion points to be tackled by our panelists. But there's another question that has already been answered by Mampal. Hello po. Are the attendees may get or receive a copy of the presentation? So we will not providing a copy of presentation, but synthesis of the session will be given to the participants through email. So if you have any other questions, so just feel free to type it in our Q&A tab. So now we will proceed to our second point of discussion. So Ms. Trixie, kindly share this. Okay, thank you. So for our second point of discussion, so here is the question. What are the relevant planning cycles in schools? Who should participate in the strategic planning process and what are their roles? Okay, so Mampal will now give us the perspective from an expert regarding this particular discussion point.
Okay, once again, thank you, Miss Luisa. So let us see now the big picture, especially if we will be discussing point number 2. What are the relevant planning cycles in schools and who should participate in the strategic planning process and what are their roles? So next slide, please. So strategic planning is a continuous quality improvement. So let us always remember that strategic planning is a continuous quality improvement. Continuous. To some degree, we do it every day. I think you will agree on this. So let us formalize the process. Where is your organization now? Is it in the planning stage? What do we mean by planning stage? So planning stage means an initial level of performance typically involving discussion, priority determination, and strategic planning. So planning stage means has informal or formal strategic planning. Now, another stage is the building stage, which means that the beginning of the change management process, as plans are put into practice, results are monitored, and adjustments are made. So, meaning to say, building stage has already a strategic plan but still in development. Another stage is the transforming stage. What do we mean by that stage? The goal for performance or the ideal towards which organizations continue to aspire. So this is our target, the transforming stage. Number 4, you have already a strategic plan but not functional only in papers, so not functional. So on the chat box, will you please answer the question, where is your organization now? Is it in the planning stage, building stage, transforming stage, or the not functional? Okay, so for 30 seconds, you can be engaged in our discussion by writing your answer on the chat box. Oh, there. Okay, so Missy Luisa, can you please read their answers?
Okay, Ma'am Pal. So according to our participants' responses, so their organization is mostly on building stage and transforming stage.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much for your engagement. Building stage, transforming. What is the common answer, Missy Luisa?
Building and transforming.
Okay, thank you. So next slide, please. So in other words, do we need to develop a strategic plan, or is the one that is currently in place still appropriate? If the answer is yes, then the next step is to set in motion the processes for developing the strategic plan and determine early stage roles. There. Next slide, please. Transforming. So let us formalize our strategic planning and implementation. And this, the schools have to decide, or you have to decide. Is it an annual planning to be used for presentation during orientation week of all employees, or an annual planning that would be quarterly revisited or assessed? Or is it an annual planning where you will schedule periodic reviews or check-ins? Decide also whether that annual planning will have the monthly progress report. And lastly, decide also whether your annual planning will be having an annual assessment or evaluation. So that would be decided first. Another one, if you are to go into long-term planning, so Ms. Edita mentioned kanina that we can have a strategic plan, a long-term strategic plan, 3 years to 10 years, no? So there, annual planning or long-term planning. Next, please. Next slide, please. This is now the big picture. The 4-step approach is a simple structure that helps us to look both holistically and in detail at the drafting and development as well as the implementation of our plan. So this is the cycle. Step 1, where are we now? So this is more of the situation analysis. Step 2, where do we want to get to? That is our future direction. Step 3, how are we going to get there? That is with regards to strategy development. And of course, the step 4, how will we know when we have got there? So this is in terms of monitoring and evaluation, the M and the E. So I think it's very clear. There is no need to explain. Next slide, please. I will be recommending to you, no, a process, because strategic planning is a process. I have experienced a lot of processes in terms of strategic planning. I have experienced the top-down planning, the bottom-up planning, where we will consider the SWOT, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. And then I was also exposed to red ocean planning, which means that planning will consider competition. And then I was also exposed to blue ocean planning. The blue ocean planning, the competition is irrelevant, but rather a strategic plan creates and captures new demand. And then the activities will be in the pursuit of differentiation and low cost. But this time, I would like to recommend or to suggest or to what do you call this? Suggest, recommend, or maybe you can try this out, no? An AI for this. It's not the AI, which means the, what do you call that? The intelligence?
Artificial intelligence, Ma'am Pal.
Intelligence, but the AI here is the appreciative inquiry for this, no? So we will follow this one. It's just very simple. The first D is discovery, which means what gives life. It is more of a storytelling, the best of what is. So this appreciative inquiry for this follow the acronym SOAR. Before it's the SWOT, but now it's the SOAR. What is the meaning of the SOAR? We will focus on the strengths, no? That is the discovery. What is the bigness of our institution? What is the bigness in terms of programs that we are offering? What is the bigness of our school in terms of achievements? What is the bigness of our school in terms of management and leadership? And what is the bigness of our school in terms of resources, human and material? So we will be discussing about the strengths. So it will take some time and everybody should contribute to the discussion of the bigness, that is discovery. Then after the first day, the discovery, we will try to ask a question. With this bigness that we have, do we think we can achieve our PVMGO? Do you think we can achieve the things that we want to have in the future? So these are opportunities for us, no? Because of the strengths. And because of that discovery, then we can proceed to the dream. What could be? We will imagine the future, no? So this is in terms of formulating our vision. Now, with our state of our school, we can still consider that, no, the vision. And that would be under the aspirations, no, the vision. So we will align our vision with the PVMGO statements of our school because that is the reason of our being. And what could be, we will imagine the future. So in other words, the PVMGO will only be attained if we will have the system, we will have the program, we will have the resources, human and material. So we will try to have what we call the vision. So I think there is a need for us again to review, to update, to revise our PVMGO. Is our PVMGO addressing the challenges of the times? Is it addressing to the high expectations of parents? So we have to review and what is our vision. And then after that, that's the second D, we will proceed to the third D. It is design. What should be? So for the design, we will be formulating provocative propositions through pillars, goals, and objectives. So what are pillars? Pillars are powerful and visionary statements derived from the appreciative inquiry process written in the present tense, always written in the present tense. So because we will be bringing the future to the present. So we will have the pillar describing the most important part of the system. Now, if your school is following or working for certification, PIAC certification, you can align your PVMGO with the different learning areas or the standards of the different learning areas of the certification. You can also align your pillars, your PVMGO with the standards of accreditation. There is a description there, and I know that the standards specified in the in the certification and in the accreditation will help achieve the PVMGO. Then after that, we will formulate the goals. So what are goals? They are broad general statements of the long-range aim related or aligned with the pillar, so goals. And then after that, we will have the objectives. So objectives, bale, we will just remember, I think you are very familiar with the criteria, the SMART, no? It should be specific, measurable, attainable, result-oriented, and time-bounded. And this objectives should be aligned with the goals, and the goals should be aligned with the pillars. Then after that, no, so that's the third D. Then the fourth D will be destiny. So what will we do? We have to deliver performance. So what are the things that we are about to do? So at this time, we will already formulate or design the SPATRES. What do we mean by SPATRES? S means strategies, P means program, A means activities, T means tasks, specific task of a particular activity. And then the rest is the resources that would cover material and human resources. So that's the 4Ds. Of course, this process will take a long time, no? Because there should be a thorough discussion of each D. Next slide, please. And this is our matrix now, no? The strategic plan implementation matrix. So you have the pillar. So please remember that the pillar is the most powerful and visionary statement derived from the PVMGO and derived from the standards if you are working with PIAC certification or accreditation. And then formulate the goals, the objectives, and this time you have to decide already programs, no? And there is a question there. Can we still consider or include can we still include the existing programs that we have, no? You can still consider the existing programs but with innovations, no? Meaning to say there is a new one being introduced. And then what are the activities under that program, and what are the tasks under those activities, no? Sometimes the school, sometimes during my in-service trainings, they will not include anymore the task, but for other schools, they will include. Why? Because the task is so detailed, no? So it is really very, very important. Again, and then the third one, we will have the resources, no? So who will do this program assigned to? And then budget, no? We should include the budget and the time element, the year 1, year 2, year 3. So those are part of the resources. The material resources, the budget, and then the human resources and the time element, no? So all you have to do is just check whether it would be carried out in year 1, year 2, year 3 if you will have a 3-year strategic plan. If you think the program will go on from year 1 until year 3, then you just have an arrow. And then we should not forget, no, benchmarking. How will we know that our program is a successful one? Of course, we have to have performance measures. And then what would be our baseline? So our baseline may be if the program that you have indicated is an existing program, and what happens? For example, in the program, there are 5 activities. Only 3 activities have been achieved. That would be your baseline. So baseline, more or less, I am recommending that it will be a percentage in a form of percentage. So 3 out of 5, what is the percentage? That will be your baseline. So in other words, if there is an increase of the baseline, that means to say that your programs, your activities, your tasks are being achieved. There. That is matrix number 1. Next slide, please. Then we will proceed to matrix 2. Number 2. So just like copy and paste lang, the pillar, the goals, the objectives. And then this time, we will be more specific. We have to list down all the strategies, the programs, the activities, and then we will have timeline, whether it's year 1, year 2, year 3. It's just a matter of working the details of the target goals, the time element there in matrix 1, no? So there. Okay. Of course, you can have how many pillars, no? That's according to, like for example, in PAYAC certification, there are how many areas up to J. You can have those, no, pillars. If you think there is a need to have a strategic plan under those standards, which will help achieve the PVMGO. Okay, there. So you can have more pillars, 2, 3, or 4, or 8, depende. Next slide, please. Then we will proceed to matrix number 3. This is now our operational plan, the monthly calendar of activities. If we have decided, no, if the school has decided to have the evaluation monthly, the evaluation quarterly, evaluation annually, so this will help, no? So what are the activities for August, year 1? So you list there, year 1. August, what are the activities, no? So you can have specific dates there. This is now what we call a part of the operational plan, no? The operational plan for the year. Okay, there. Next slide, please. So, who will participate in the planning? So, the certification assessment instrument, institutional planning and development standard. The school is successful in meeting this standard when it implements a collaborative and ongoing data-driven process for improvement that aligns the school's philosophy, vision, mission, goals and objectives, and curriculum goals with its size, function, and community expectations for student performance, learning recovery, and continuity. So all of this, if we are to consider the ongoing data-driven process for improvement, we need collaboration. So that is why all the manpower should help so that they will embrace and they will help in the planning. So if ever they are assigned to a particular area, then they will embrace it because the plan comes from them. So it is participative. Okay, so next slide, please. We will consider again the stages in the life of the team. We can consider the faculty and staff there as team. Oh, the whole team, then we can have sub-teams, no? If, for example, area 1 will be all about curriculum, the improvement of the curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and then you will assign people or teachers or staff there, that could be one team. Or if, for example, part of the strategic plan is all about budget, all about finance, then you can organize a team who will be working a strategic plan to improve the sustainability of the school in terms of finance. So this is very important, once again, to know what are the stages in the life of a team of your faculty and staff. First is forming. Members are uncertain about roles, rules, and expectations. They do not know No, they do not have they do not know what is their role. So sometimes if they will be assigned to do something, they will say, oh, no, 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 that is not my role. Or for example, they will be doing something and it's not the rule and it's not the expectation. So they are still underperforming. And then the second stage is storming. Members come into conflict over goals and personalities. This should be addressed, no? Because there is a need for a collaboration. So there should be oneness and connectivity of all the members of the faculty and staff. And then the norming, working styles are agreed and systems are set up. So it's good, no? Norming. So meaning to say, if they will agree that the strategic plan will be evaluated monthly, or they will the evaluation the SP will be evaluated quarterly, so they have to agree and they have to agree on the system, and that is part of norming. And the last one, which is our target, is performing. So we should see to it that the team works positively, creatively, and productively together, especially during the strategic planning, no? This is really very, very important. Okay, so again, I would like to request you to please write on the chat box, what do you think are the stages in the life of a team in your school? Because this is really very, very important. Na? Okay, so only for 30 seconds. Start writing now. Wow, performing. Good. Others, please. Building. Okay. Norming.
Ma'am Pal, I can already read the responses of the participants. So,
You can.
performing,
Uh-huh.
norming, building, norming, perform.
Performing. What else?
Yes, performing. So
Perform.
most of them have responded performing.
Performing. So that's good, no? So in other words, if the stage in the life of a team in your school is already performing, so that is very good. Congratulations. You are ready for the strategic planning process. Now, for example, you are still in the forming stage, in the storming stage, and in the norming stage, the orientation is very, very important, no? So that everybody should understand. They will be given the roles, they will be given the rules, the expectations, and then the norms, their working styles, and then how to handle conflict over goals and personalities. So congratulations to all those schools whose team is underperforming. So you are ready for the strategic plan. Okay? Next, please. So to end, the school is successful in meeting this standard when it implements a collaborative and an ongoing data-driven process for improvement that aligns the school's philosophy, vision, goals, and objectives of the school. Okay, so joint practice development is a more effective way of improving practice, one that is associated with whole school improvement, and it is continuous, not occasional, and where everyone is an active participant. Again, everyone is an active participant, combining learning and development with practice. So that's all for our discussion point number 2. Thank you. Back to you, Miss Luisa.
Okay, so Ma'am Edita, you may now share your insights regarding the second discussion point from the perspective of school administrator.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Pal. I am myself learning with all those important technicalities of what strategic planning is all about, and even how to manage such a big endeavor for the school. I'm also very glad that a lot of our schools work harmoniously and are ready to do strategic planning. There were also questions a while ago, which were noted to me by Ma'am Eloisa. I will try to do my best to answer some of those questions after my sharing. And perhaps in my sharing, they may already be answered. Our next slide, please. So just to answer the question of what are the relevant planning cycles in schools, who should participate in the strategic planning process, and what are their roles? Schools operate within various planning cycles that contribute to the overall strategic direction. So let's see what are these various planning cycles. Next slide, please. What are these? There can be an annual planning, and then the 3 to 5 years of mid-range planning cycle, and the long-range planning cycle, which is more than 5 years, and the continuous improvement cycle, like the principle of plan, do, check, and act. Now, when we do a plan, the PDCA cycle, or the plan, do, check, act, this is actually a framework for continuous improvement and problem solving. It is repeated continuously to drive an ongoing improvement and refinement. So this is just how we go about it. And then next slide, let's look at those who should participate in the strategic planning process and what are their roles. Although Ma'am Pal already gave us a good look at the details and processes, just to add that an inclusive, when everyone is enjoined, consultative, and collaborative approach to strategic planning is crucial for its success. So it's all about thinking, looking at all our stakeholders to be part of the strategic planning process, because the contribution of everyone is highly regarded at a different points and at different perspectives. This is how I would look at it. Next slide, please. The school leaders, the key persons in the strategic planning process, the school leaders, it depends on the nature of the school. Of course, for other big schools, we have the president, the vice president for academic affairs, the vice president for administration, while for other schools, we have directors, we have the principals, assistant principals, as well as the department heads. Then we have the teachers, our non-teaching personnel. The teachers will provide us the insights, perspectives, experiences when it comes to the curriculum process, the teaching and learning process. Under the support services are our guidance counselors, librarians, and support personnel. Of course, our students, the center of our teaching and learning process. What could be their perspective? How do they see education in our schools? How can they be part of their learning and growth processes? And what about our parents and our guardians? How do they see our strengths, the areas of improvement that will be part of the strategic planning process? And look at our graduates, look at our alumni. What had become of them? And then they will provide us these key inputs in the strategic planning process. Of course, the good engagement of our community members, the linkages that we have, the non-government organization, the private organizations, and other community members who will provide us all of the consolidated input in the strategic planning process. I also would like to take in the Board of Trustees that would provide an oversight and the approval of the strategic planning process. And the Board of Trustees may ensure the alignment with the shared vision, mission, holding the key persons and even the point persons or the administrators to be accountable and responsible of the strategic planning process. So to me, these are the key persons in the strategic planning process. Next item, please. I'd like to work on the antidotes, the strategic plan initiatives where who should take part and what are their roles. It is important that we establish a strategic planning committee with representation from all key stakeholder groups. We can conduct surveys, focus groups, and interviews to gather input from our diverse stakeholders. We can also organize workshops, the retreats to facilitate collaborative planning sessions. We can start by how to go about doing the strategic planning process. It was taught to us by Mampal, all of these processes. But how do we uh, put that embodiment? How do we apply? By really being part of the workshop. So in the workshops as well, it will unlock some of our levels of inquiries, difficulties as we go on the strategic planning process. So we do not just simply ask our people to work on that and to do that, but it's actually a gathering. It's actually a workshop where people are drawn together, come together for that activity. So it's a well-planned format for the school. And Ma'am Pal also provided us a framework or a template where we can clearly define the roles and responsibilities of each participant in the planning process. That's why to me, in doing so as a school administrator, I really am looking at awarely, consciously, the organizational the organization or the organizational chart so that I will be able to uh, put where the committee members or the committee heads must be. I will be able to make the good delegations in the strategic planning process. And along the way, let us ensure transparent communication throughout the planning process, as this will be a unified commitment in the pursuit of the achievement of the strategic plan. I would like to take in my personal points and my takeaways on the questions that I got a while ago from our chat box. There is a question there from Ma'am Regina Entak, and this is really a highly regarded question. How can school heads effectively balance between long-term strategic goals and the urgent day-to-day operational challenges without compromising the integrity of the strategic plan? As school heads and administrators, ako po, I really experienced this. It is very challenging, truly napakahirap when you are confronted with the day-to-day operational activities and you have a goal in mind to achieve the strategic plan. So it's really about good planning and it also started where even the operational are found in my action plan. So I do not want to remove the operational important activities in the annual action plan that I have so that I will be guided fully, and I do not want to miss those that must be achieved in the day-to-day operations. But these day-to-day operations I also have the milestones to put in the action plan, pero nag-uumpisa talaga sa mga operational. And I have on myself, on my part, having a difficulty. I don't want to remove the operational because first and foremost, the operational deems to be important, but they allow me to navigate as well the what they call this, the milestones in the strategic plan. So para pong ano rin, yung parang hindi overwhelming while it is comprehensive but not overwhelming because I have a target on what to achieve on a specific month and I have a progress report after the month. So I already know what I need to work on a specific month and this is what I need to achieve. And because they are planned, so I would know ano ba yung gagawin ko sa January? Ano ba yung dapat kong ma-achieve sa January? So I already know that and I am obliged actually to submit a progress report of that of that academic year plan that is anchored on the five-year strategic plan. And this is my annual action plan, and this is what I need to accomplish. So I am fully guided by that. And of course, the flexibility. Later on, in the next topics in the next questions that we have, perhaps these items will be answered under the management of flexibilities. So parang talagang there is a conscious effort, there is a mindful effort that while doing the operational plan, you are geared towards accomplishing also the most important facets of the strategic plan where you are guided on a scheduled basis. Can we, another question from Sir Clevian Jan Lasala, can we include the strategic plan, the usual practices or operation of the school? Personally, as a school administrator, I started doing so by putting the operational because I don't want to miss the important operational before the bigger aspects of the strategic plan. So mindfulness becomes a key agent in us being administrators because we are there hands-on in the strategic plan. So alam natin kahit po nakapikit, kahit natutulog tayo, parang nasa isip natin yung mga action plans, strategic plans, and the development plans. Welcome po, Ma'am Regina. Also from our anonymous attendee, I am not so particular with the school setup of 900 students. What is the ideal number of school heads in order to facilitate organized and efficient management protocols? I would also need to know what is the science or the technical, like there is an equivalent of a number of students for a guidance counselor, for a librarian. So what about for school principals or school heads? I also need help on that aspect. Another question I got was, or one that is found in the chat box is, how does strategic planning contribute to improve student outcomes and the overall learning environment within a school? It was also mentioned a while ago that one of the most important facet of the strategic plan is the student outcome. So we will have activities, we will have goals, objectives, and tasks in order to achieve that student outcome. That's why it becomes a significant agent in the accomplishment of the strategic plan. Sa akin nga, the learner as the center of it all. I have a strategic plan because it will all be along all the key areas of the strategic plan. The center for me of it all is no less than the student, the learner. Another question is, how can schools ensure meaningful participation from all relevant stakeholders, especially those who might not traditionally have a strong voice? To me, this will come from the school heads, the school administrators, if they um, if they really, if our fellow members of the academic community see that uh, we are open, we are sincere, that we want as much as inputs and contributions that would come from very diverse members of the school community, and we can actually inspire, motivate, and allow our people, our fellow members of the school community to really speak in the sense of respect and sincerity for the betterment of the school. So let us allow po that loving and open communication. That's why I was so happy to hear among our participants that they already have a very good relationship between and among, that they can do the strategic plan in working together as a school. So i-open po natin yung discussion, and then allow everyone to speak based on their context and experiences, the diversity of the groups in the strategic planning process. And also, napaka-importante po siguro on our end as school administrators na maramdaman sa atin ng bawat isang member of the school community that yes, we are open, we are willing to learn, and also we are willing to uh, have an open mind, even also no yung acceptance, and or baka ang maririnig natin, wow, ito pala yung ginagawa nating maganda, and also yung level of composure and acceptance na ito pala yung dapat ma-improve ng school natin. So ito pala yung dapat pong tutukan at uh, bigyan ng pansin. So sincerity, respect, and even that acknowledgement and regard to each and every member of the school community are very important in engaging and allowing everyone to be part of the school's direction. Para sa lahat yun eh. If the school is sustainable, everyone can have a meaningful and even a good life being a member of the school community. So thank you very much po. Let's look at the perspective of Ma'am Gloria as she also shares this item number 2.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ma'am Edita. In addition to what Ma'am Edita's as well as Ma'am Palaran's viewpoints on planning cycles in schools, I will be addressing the relevant planning cycles and participation in strategic planning through the lens of those who are at the heart of the educational process, the teachers. From a teacher's viewpoint, I would like to emphasize this. Planning isn't just an administrative task. It's the bedrock of effective instruction and student success. There's a question here. Ma'am Edita already answer this question. How does strategic planning contribute to improve student outcomes? That is why in the strategic planning, you have to include your priority improvement areas. And then, of course, the other one is overall learning environment within the school. Now, very important, we have to remember that when we make a plan, of course, you have to identify your priorities. And if your priority is the improvement of the school facilities, then include it in the plan and then allocate a budget. Because in most of the schools that I visited, when I check their plan, some of them forgot to include the budget as well as the budget source. So it's very important that we have to remember that if it is not in the plan, of course, the top management will not be allocating a budget because it is not in the plan. When you apply for accreditation, it can be PAASCO, PACOCOA, or even certification. Part of the plan that you will prepare is like facilities development plan. Actually, there are a lot of plans that you will prepare aside from the faculty development plan. That it must be needs based on the needs of the faculty, student development plan, administrators development plan, and all other plans. So very important that you have to include that in your plan, in the planning, as well as of course include the budget. I would like to add and focus on the school improvement planning cycle. I think there are a lot of ESC participating schools here, participants from ESC participating school. You are actually doing this planning cycle, the school improvement planning cycle. Though in PEAC, we call it SSIP, or the standards-based school improvement plan. And there are three distinct phases in the SIP cycle. One is, the first phase is the assess phase. If you attended the training initiated by PEAC, we conducted a training before in making an SSIP. There is an assessment tool for the SSIP planning. So you can use the tool in assessing. So this is actually the initial phase that involves identifying the priority improvement areas, or the PIA. This is I mentioned a while ago, and establishing general objectives. Of course, it must be aligned with the, of course, objectives of the school. So always remember that everything that we do in school must be geared towards the realization of the avowed PVMGO, the philosophy, vision, mission, goals, and objectives of the schools. And then in the assessment phase, schools collect data by listening to the learners and stakeholders. Ma'am Palaran as well as Ma'am Edita emphasize the inclusivity of the strategic planning process. So it must be inclusive, meaning all stakeholders must be involved in the planning process. It's always evidence-based approach because it will help ensure inclusion of the different improvement efforts and priority goals of the school. And then after making an assessment, by the way, when you assess everything, all facets in the school must be included, from of course, from the PVMGO down to facilities, curriculum, assessment, instruction, and all other parts. Even in the CHI, because you will include that. That's part of the tool when you make an assessment. And of course, the different stakeholders must be involved. Why? Because they give very valuable inputs in the assessment process. The second phase is the planning phase. During this phase, the school actually review of course, the objectives, formulates some solutions to the problems, develop some projects, propose some projects for the improvement of the school, and then of course prepare both the SSIP or the SIP, School Improvement Plan, and normally this is 3 years. PAC suggested for 3 years SSIP, and then of course AOP or the AIP, Annual Implementation Plan, or we call it Annual Operational Plan. So of course, that should be taken from the 3-year SSIP. So this structured approach ensures that interventions are purposeful and aligned with the identified priorities or priority improvement areas of the school. And then after the planning phase, of course, that's you will proceed to the third phase in the SIP cycle, which is the act phase. The third phase involves testing some solutions through a small-scale implementation before the full rollout of the plan. And then, of course, in the implementation, it's very important that we will constantly monitor and then, of course, check the implementation progress and, of course, make some necessary adjustments. The SIP cycle is actually iterative, meaning it's repetitive, that assess, plan, act, and then it's cyclical, returning to the assess phase to analyze the impact of implemented solutions and inform adjustments for subsequent planning cycles. Next slide, please. I would also like to share the 4-stage strategic planning cycle. This is another widely recognized framework in strategic planning cycle. The first one is the preparation for construction. So in this stage, it involves conducting audits. Like in our school, our QA, quality assurance manager, will always conduct audits to understand the current state of the school, including the other aspects. I always involve the teachers because I want to include the student learning levels. So that is why we have irregular PLCs also in school, because the data that we can gather through the regular PLCs in our school is very important to be integrated in our plan. The second stage is what we call construction. So this critical stage actually focuses on developing the strategic plan and its components, including the vision, mission statements, goals of the school, the curriculum, pedagogy, and then of course assessment. So this is the third in PEAC instrument. CAI is one of the area that you need also to assess and include in your plan. The third stage is what we call application. So this is the stage that involves implementing the strategic plan throughout the school. And of course, as what I have said a while ago, monitoring is also a critical aspect in the implementation of the plan. So always monitor the progress. And then after that, you will proceed to the fourth stage, which is evaluation. So monitoring and evaluation normally in an accreditation or certification, the accreditors or the certifiers will always ask how do you monitor and evaluate your plans. There are actually a lot of plans that we will prepare in school, faculty development plan, student development plan. We have the guide library development plan, physical development plan, administrators development plan. And it's really very important that these plans are constantly monitored, check the progress, and so that you can make some adjustments. And then, of course, very important, you have to evaluate. And this is actually the final stage wherein you assess the effectiveness of the plan. And of course, the data that you will gather in the evaluation will help you improve your future planning efforts. Continuous feedback loops from staff, from students, from community members, and of course other stakeholders. These are very important, very essential to refine the strategic plan to ensure that it remains relevant and effective in addressing different educational challenges. Next slide, please. This was already mentioned by Ma'am Pal and Ma'am Edita a while ago, but I would like to add school heads, of course, very important that they must be included. Both teaching and non-teaching staff, community stakeholders, student learners, parents, and then you can include mga industry partners. You can hold, like in school, we hold industry forums so that we can get feedback. Like if you have senior high school and then of course college, you can always hold industry forum because the feedback from the companies is very essential, and you can make some adjustments and then include that in the strategic planning. Now, I would like to, of course, emphasize that the success of these planning cycles really depend heavily on inclusive participation from the diverse stakeholders. When properly executed, these planning cycles provide schools with focused roadmaps for improvement that are responsive to local context, our context, while aligned with broader educational goals. So thank you so much. Back to you, Ma'am Eloisa.
Okay, so thank you, our dear panelists. So time check, it's already 5:27. So in the interest of time, so may I request our dear panelists, so uh, you have a very enriching discussion and we are actually learning a lot from you. But as I said, in the interest of time, so may I request you to share just one key point for the remaining two discussion points. Okay, so probably next time we can still have another session for strategic planning. So we understand that this will really take time to discuss everything, but for the remaining 2 points, so you can just give one essential point as your response. Okay, so we proceed now to the third discussion point. What critical practices ensure that strategic goals are implemented in the school's programs, projects, and activities? And what happens when when schools fail to plan strategically? Ma'am Pal?
Yes. Okay, so I will proceed. Next slide, please. So the practices to ensure planning, implementation, and evaluation of a strategic plan. I have here four. Number one is faculty room organization. What do we mean by this? Physical arrangement of faculty tables and chairs following horizontal team structure or vertical team structure for easy conversation, especially on the tracking of the strategic plan. Number two is the PLC sessions. What do we mean by that? If topics will be about improving an instruction of a particular learning area, then this will be thoroughly discussed during PLC session, either vertical or horizontal teams, no? So, because the strategic plan is also uh, including improvement of the curriculum, improvement of instruction, the different teaching strategies, and so forth and so on. Then the third one is also another one is if topics will be about, no, because there was a question kanina how to improve. will the strategic plan help improve the performance outcome? So if topics will be about improving performance outcome, like designing an interdisciplinary performance task, then this will be thoroughly discussed during PLC session with the horizontal team. I think you already know what is the composition of horizontal team and vertical team. The next one is the refinement of the strategic plan. This is actually a practice, no? So first is review the provisions of strategies and programs. So speaking of programs, it should be articulated. And then review performance indicators, and this should be measurable. And then review budget. As much as possible, consider only the expenses incurred by the school. And then organize a committee to work on the refinement checking, like the technical, the grammar, the overlapping of provisions, the underlapping of provisions, and then the alignment. So after the review, after the refinement, seek approval of the faculty. So the plenary session is very important. And then faculty and staff, then submit the strategic plan to the principal and the director or the president for approval. And the last one, practice. This is actually a practice, and it should be included in the practice, the evaluation, monitoring, and tapping and tracking. How are we going to do it? Again, next slide, please. How are we going to monitor? How are we going to track? We will use the road mapping template, no? So we will be listing down all the overarching components, the areas for improvement which are articulated in the strategic plan. And then there will be a discussion of the team, no? Doing or defining that component, that area for improvement and defining strategies. They will discuss what should be kept, what should we cut, and then create, what should be created, and then what should be embedded or merged. And then will it be considered a short term or a long term? So this is really very, very important. You can have it monthly, no? You can have it quarterly, or you can have it annually. It depends. But I am suggesting that the road mapping will happen frequently, either monthly or quarterly. Next slide, please. Another way of evaluating is using the implementation evaluation using rubrics, no? So you have to consider the factors or the elements to be evaluated. What is the end result, the attainment of the objective, which are objectives which are articulated in the strategic plan, the leadership team, the engagement, meaning to say the support of the school through the participation of the faculty and staff and the administration, and of course the external stakeholders, and then the budget, effective use of the resources, assessment system, implementation of annual calendar of activities, and of course, we have to consider in our strategic plan the relevance of the 21st century learning, no? So we have to include that one because we are implementing the revised K-10 curriculum. So what is the evaluation? Level 1, limited implementation. Level 2, beginning implementation. Level 3, proficient implementation. And level 4, exemplary implementation. So the rating can be institutional. You can decide whatever is your rating. In this case, the example, the highest rating is 5 and the lowest rating is 1. You can design your own rubrics. Okay. Next, please. Next slide, please. So what happens when schools fail to plan strategically? So these are the biggest challenges of operating without a plan. So of course, the school lacks a clear direction without strategic goals and objectives. The employees may not know what to prioritize, resulting in confusion an inconsistent performance. So it's just a hit and miss. And then poor use of resources and time management. And then, of course, the school lacks a roadmap. And if there is no strategic plan, it is difficult to track progress, to identify problems, or make strategic decisions. That is why strategic plan is very important. No, it's not more of a compliance because of certification. It's not more of a compliance because of accreditation. It is a tool. Very, very important there. So I think that's all for the discussion number 3. Back to you, Miss Eloisa.
Okay, so Ma'am Edita, you may discuss or you may share your insights for discussion point number 3.
Okay, while the slides are there, but I would just like to give my key points and takeaways in item number 3. So, what critical practices ensure that strategic goals are implemented in the school's programs, projects, and activities? What happens when schools fail to plan strategically? So, all of this were discussed comprehensively by Ma'am Pal. Effective implementation is crucial for realizing the benefits of strategic planning, and there are several critical practices to facilitate this process. But as a school administrator, first and foremost, I would just like to be an inspiring, a motivating, a visionary, a passionate servant leader so that this strategic plan will be achieved. I would like to take in that I am one with my fellow members in the community in achieving our strategic goals. I just want to be, while I am mindful about leading, but I also take a good look about the contributions of each and every member of the community. And I take hands-on when I see that there is a challenging motivation that would come from each member, like the committee heads and the committee members in the strategic plan. So I am there to inspire, to motivate, to move people, and to work together to a common goal to achieve the strategic plan. And the other takeaway that I have is let's celebrate our success. I'd love that we will celebrate our success and let us highlight the success of our strategic plan on what we had achieved. And let's learn. Let's have an open opportunities for learning and how we address the challenges by being flexible in accomplishing our strategic plan. So those are my important takeaways in this question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Edita. Ma'am Gloria.
Okay, well
your
said.
turn.
Well said, Ma'am Edita. I just would like to share my of course insights on the third discussion point about having a contingency plan. I would like you to remember that contingency plan is as important as your plan. Now, if plan A doesn't work, remember in the alphabet, the alphabets is up to Z. So always have plan A or plan B. If plan A doesn't work, then try plan B and the other plans, other contingency plans. And of course, very critical practices for strategic goal implementation. One is very important: clear communication and shared understanding. All stakeholders must understand, must be given orientation. They must be informed about the plan of the school, the priorities of the school, and they should understand. And then of course, alignment of curriculum and instruction. So when we plan, we always align it with curriculum and instruction. The goals, of course, we will always consider the PVMGO of the school, and then of course align our curriculum and instructional goals. And then the third critical practice is, of course, embedding professional development and support. Very important of the professional development plans of all especially the faculty and the non-teaching staff must be embedded when we do strategic planning. And then of course, regular monitoring. I always emphasize this in my talk a while ago, that regular monitoring and of course evaluation is very important for you to be able to, of course, make some adjustments. That is why we have year by year plan, the annual operational plan from the 3-year school improvement plan, so that we can make adjustments. So if we were not able to accomplish the target plan, then we can always make adjustments whenever we encounter some challenges. And of course, as what I have said, teacher involvement in decision making, since they are our frontliners. They know what is happening on the ground. Next slide, please. And then, of course, this is similar to what I've said, the critical implementation practices, strategic alignment. So everything in school must be strategically aligned with the PVMGO of the school, clear accountability. That is why in our plan, we will always assign responsible persons. And then, of course, milestone planning, and then of course data-driven decision. So always remember that it's very important to base our decisions and our plan with the data that we can gather in our school. So these are actually some of the researches that show strategic plans that help really improve strategic outcomes. So I took that from the research of Mitchell, and then we have Larnon et al. Okay. Next. These are actually the consequences of strategic planning failures. Of course, waste of the resources, mission drift if you don't have any plan, or if your plan fails, stakeholder disengagement, they're no longer very participative, they don't want to be involved in the activities, and of course, this is now the danger, crisis. There will be crisis. So thank you so much. Back to you, Ma'am Eloisa.
Okay, so thank you, Ma'am Gloria. So now we proceed to our final discussion point. Okay, and kindly, Miss Trixie, question number 4.
Question number 4.
Okay, so how important are contingencies to be set in place to allow modifications of the implementation and evaluation? So, Ma'am Pal.
Okay, next slide, please. So there is a need for a contingency plan or an alternate plan. It is also known colloquially as Plan B. It is a plan devised for an outcome other than the usual plan. That is why the road mapping is very important. What are the things that should be continued? What are the things or the programs that should be cut, and all those things, no? And then we will design another one, which is what we call a contingency plan. So contingency planning gives employees and stakeholders clear directions to follow, allowing everyone involved to move together towards the right solution. So when disruptions occur, organizations face the possibility of reputational damage that comes from being unable to meet expectations. So again, that is the very reason why we have to have an implementation evaluation regularly. Next slide, please. What are the benefits of a contingency plan? We have number 1, it considers risks and actions that should be taken when risks materialize. So there are always times that we have to address some challenges or the risk, no? So we have to consider a contingency plan. And then the contingency plan enables the early execution of a controlled plan. So that is the very reason why there is a need to have a tracking, so that whatever the activities articulated during the first month of the year one, and then what are the activities during the year two. So there is a need to implement all those activities before a risk, no, happen. And the number 3, contingency plan increases the chance of the best possible outcome being achieved. Because of the contingency plan, no, and then there is a shift of the original plan, then there is a possibility that the best possible outcome will be achieved. Number 4, the contingency plan helps an institution avoid crisis management. And this we should avoid. Okay, next slide please. A contingency plan for an educational institution will consider the following. We have to take a look, no, of the following factors that could be a risk. And why is it that we need to have a contingency plan? Simply because we consider the financial position. Sometimes there is a decrease of our income. We have no more budget or less budget simply because there is a less enrollment, no? Our enrollment decreases. So that is why we have to make certain adjustments. Usually the strategic plan is being crafted before the beginning of the school year, or there is what we call an annual assessment, no, or evaluation of the plan. So sometimes it is indicated many activities are included in our strategic plan that sometimes it will not be considered because of the financial position and the decrease in enrollment. And also another factor why there is a need to have a contingency plan is that of the human resources, no? Because we have high turnover of teachers and staff, especially in the private schools, no? And we are not assured of their commitment, so we have to have a shift of our plan. And then the communication channeling, it has also something to do with commitment. There should be an open communication that sometimes the head or maybe the team chair will not communicate, so there is a confusion, and the plan is not being achieved because of the lack of communication. And of course, another big reason for us to have a contingency plan is the force majeure or the natural disasters, just like what happened to the pandemic, di ba? Everybody suffered there. So there is a need to have a contingency plan. And I would like to end, next slide please. And I would like to end my part, no, with this quotation. The great end of life is not knowledge but action. That's according to Aldous Huxley. One good action is more valuable than 1,000 good intention. That's by John L. Mason. Thinking well is wise. Planning well is wiser. Doing well, the wisest and the best of all. That's anonymous. So there is really a very big difference if you will have a plan and then it's not functional. So the plan should be a reason for a school to ensure to the stakeholders that we are continuously improving. So I think that's all. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share. Back to you, Miss Eloisa.
Okay, so Ma'am Erita, your turn.
Thank you, Ma'am Pal and Ma'am Eloisa. For this part, how important are contingencies to be set in place to allow modifications of the implementation and evaluation? I would just like to put it this way. Contingency. When I think about contingency, it is via be the risk management as a school administrator. I am always confronted being a school administrator to getting myself into critical and analytical thinking process because of that accountability. The one that we breathe as school administrators is accountability. So it is important to have an anticipation for contingency. You would look at how would you manage the risk at all aspects, which part and part of it is the contingency plan for things to work. While yes, we delegate and we allow everybody to be part of the process, but looking at who can be the most accountable is that something that we breathe every day in our lives as school administrators. So we have developed that maybe that gift and a skill to always be mindful of the risk, looking at the risk management, to think deeply about what's going on in our school and what directions do we have. And while before it happens, we are able to anticipate the risk, or we are able to provide the contingency, and we engage ourselves that we know what is happening. That's why it is important to have an open communication with our fellow members in the school if we find that there will be a need for interventions. And in doing so, let us allow ourselves to be flexible, to be adaptable, resilient, and having that grit in confronted with a lot of challenges, not just the strategic plan, but all the endeavors of the school. It is something that is a gift given to us when we lead, that we become the person knowing to be accountable and responsible, but as well as we look at the many sides and the all sides of the situation, and really doing a critical thinking and analytical process in doing so. Then, if we are sincerely devoted, committed in our mission and vocation in what we do for the education of our children, that leads to the achievement of our vision, mission through our strategic goals and directions, the school will not fail. And in doing so, we know very well that our faith and prayers will allow us to be guided by our dear God in all of our decisions for our school, and specifically the students and the school in itself as an important uh, part of the things that we do as a school administrator. So I would like to give my high regard, respect, and acknowledgement to everyone in the school community, but also to my fellow administrators in having that very challenging accountability and responsibility that is given to us in our schools. And we thank each and every member of the school community, our fellow members in the school community, that we cannot do it ourselves. We need everyone in the school community to make it happen and for the school to really achieve great things. So God bless everyone.
Thank you, Ma'am Edita. Yes, Ma'am Gloria.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Eloisa. Thank you so much, Ma'am Edita and Ma'am Pal, for giving us a very comprehensive discussion about the importance of having a contingency plan. I just would like to emphasize this, especially monitoring on the evaluation, because when I visit school, and then also in the revised, in the PAC CAI, monitoring and evaluation is emphasized there in the instrument. It's really very important that we have to monitor what we write in the plan even if we have a very beautiful plan, but if we fail to implement them properly, and we fail to monitor and evaluate the plan that we prepared, the plan is of course useless. It's just a waste of our time and effort. Remember, we really put our hearts and energy in making a plan, so we have to also devote our energy in making, monitoring and evaluating the plan that we have prepared. And I would like to end my talk by leaving you with a powerful thought from Leonard Sweet. The future is not something we enter. The future is something we create. Let us remember that we should move forward, actively shape the strategic direction of our school, and ultimately, of course, the future of our students. Together, let us create something beautiful para sa bata, para sa mamamayan, at para sa bayan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Gloria. So allow me to thank all our panelists this afternoon for a very enriching and interesting discussion. So as we wrap up today's webinar, remember, strategic planning isn't just about predicting the future, it's about creating it with intention. So we still have time for our raffle draw. So ayan, so mapapalad po ang nagstay na participants hanggang sa oras na ito, dahil po tayo ay magkakaroon na ng raffle. Okay, Miss Pauline?
Good afternoon po. Thank you so much po, Ma'am Eloisa and our dear panelists. So, we are now going to move now to our raffle draw. But before that, let me just remind po our dear panelists po, while the raffle is ongoing, we kindly encourage po our panelists to address the questions in the Q&A tab if possible. So now, before we proceed, please take note of the following important reminders. Again, if your name is called, make sure you are still present in the meeting. If you are not, we will draw another name. So let's start. Alright, congratulations po, Ma'am Lorena on Ordinaryo. Ma'am Rachel, may I ask for some assistance po if Ma'am Lorena is still here in the meeting? Lorena, Ordinaryo.
Yes po, Miss Pauline.
Alright, congratulations po, Ma'am Lorena. So again po, don't forget po to claim your prize. Send us your full name, contact number, GCash number, and valid ID. Next po, congratulations, Ma'am Janice Miranda. Ma'am Janice, are you still here in the meeting?
She's here po, Miss Pauline, Miss Jan
Alright,
here.
congratulations po, Ma'am Janice. Next, we have Ma'am Nelia Maldia. Ma'am Nelia, are you still here? Ma'am Nelia Maldia.
Hello, Miss Pauline. I didn't see her name po on the attendees. Thank you.
Po, let us call another name po for our third winner. Congratulations po, Ma'am Emily Briones. Ma'am Emily, are you still here in the meeting? Kindly click the raise hand button po so we can easily locate you. Ma'am Emily Briones.
She's not here also po, Miss Pauline.
Sige
Thank
po,
you.
let's another name. Congratulations po, Ma'am Thelma Resurrection. Ma'am Thelma Resurrection. Kindly click the raise hand button po so we can easily see you.
Hello, Miss Pauline. Miss Thelma Resurrection is here po. Thank you po.
Alright, congratulations po, Ma'am Thelma. Alright, let's go now to our fourth winner. Congratulations po, Sir John Lor Ganaden Flores. John Lor Ganaden Flores, are you still here?
Hello po, Miss Pauline. Yes po, Sir John
Right.
Flores is here. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rachel. Congratulations, Sir John. Okay, for our fifth winner, Ma'am Luz Arlene Chavez. Luz Arlene Sanchez Chavez. Ma'am
Hello po.
Luz.
Yes po, Miss Pauline. Miss Luz Arlene Chavez is here po. Thank
All right,
you.
congratulations po. Thank you, Ma'am Rachel. And for our last winner, Ma'am Christine Beatrice Pascual Manayan. Ma'am Christine, are you still here?
Hello po, Miss Pauline. I regret to inform you po that Miss Christine is not on the list of attendees po. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rachel. Sige po, we will be calling another winner. Our last winner. Congratulations po, Ma'am Loren Galang. Loren Araulio Galang. Ma'am Loren.
Hello po, Miss Pauline. I'm sorry po. Miss Lauren Galang is not here po. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So we will be calling another name. Congratulations po, ma'am. Teresa Shelo Valenzuela. Teresa Shelo Valenzuela. Ma'am Teresa.
Hello po, Miss Pauline. I'm sorry, but Miss Teresa is not here also po. Thank you.
Sige po. Thank you so much, Ma'am Rachel. Sana po ang ating last nandito na. Sayang naman po. Congratulations po, ma'am. Charmaine Esteban. Ma'am Charmaine Francisco Esteban. Are you still here?
Hello po, Miss Pauline. I'm sorry, but Miss Charmaine is
Oh.
not here po. I'm so
Thank you,
sorry po. Thank
ma'am.
you.
Sige po. Again po, last winner na natin. Sayang po, sana nandito pa. Ma'am Samantha Noel. Samantha Noel Rigor. Samantha Noel Rigor. Ma'am
Pauline, I'm
Samantha.
sorry. I regret to inform you that Miss Samantha is not here po. Thank you.
Wala pa rin po. Sige po, don't worry po. Last naman na po ito. Congratulations po, Ma'am Maria Elizabeth Bulaon. Maria Elizabeth Bulaon. Ma'am Maria Elizabeth.
Congratulations po, Miss Maria Elizabeth Bulaon. She's here po, Miss Pauline. Thank
Ayan,
you.
congratulations. Thank you so much, Ma'am Rachel. Congratulations to all the winners. Don't forget po to claim your prize. Just send us your full name, contact number, GCash or bank details, and your valid ID to our email. Thank you so much and congratulations po. Ma'am Eloisa, thank you po.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Pauline. So that ends our discussion, our webinar, episode 3 this afternoon. Actually, it's already evening. So thank you for joining us, our dear participants. And we hope that you'll be with us on our next episodes. Thank you.
Thank you so much po. Don't forget po to answer our feedback form. Thank you po.
Thank you so much, everyone. There is a question, how can we claim our prize?
Hello po. Thank you po, Ma'am Pal. Bali, you can send us po your uh, full name, contact number, GCash po, or bank details, and your valid ID through our email po. Here is my email po. I will send it on the chat box po. Thank you.
And there is another question, how can you send us also the link of the evaluation for this session? I think we will be using the QR code, no, right?
Yes, ma'am. But we will also send po the link po on our chat box po so they can still access it also. Thank you po.
Okay. There. The link is there.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Mampal, congratulations and thank you very much. Thank you then
Thank
and
you.
congrats.
Thank you so much, Sir Levy and everyone.
Miss Elsa, Miss Gloria, Miss Edita, congratulations and thank you very much. Pau, Rachel, and Trix, thank you. Salamat, salamat.
Thank you po. Congratulations po.
Thank you po, Sir
Thank you
Levy.
so
The rest of
much,
our
Miss
team.
Pao, Miss
Thank you, sir.
Rachel.
And so
Sir.
sorry for extending the time.
It's
Oo,
really a very
dapat
technical topic.
dapat hinabaan natin yung time allotment for this episode.
It's good lang that the curriculum, what is that? What episode is that? The curriculum, we have 2 sessions, no? Session 1 and session 2.
Session
Yeah.
1 and session 2. Hinabaan na natin. Pero, ayan. So, Ma'am Jovi Augusto, salamat din po. Pakset Bonum, maraming salamat to everyone. Hindi naman kinakabahan si Ma'am Pan. Walang kakaba-kaba.